Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terance Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Atlanta Sports Unlimited, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. Look at this, everybody. Terance Mathis is taking time out of his vacation to come on
I'm on
here
vacation
on
and still
vacation
working.
and make sure that he still gives us what he does every week.
Yes.
So the Falcons played another preseason game again without the starters. I see a lot of people continuing to say, Terance, that it doesn't matter. The starters aren't playing and that the Falcons need to preserve and protect those guys from injuries. Why is that necessarily the case?
Well, I'm really baffled right now why the starters haven't played in the first two games. I'm baffled why your number one draft pick, the number four pick overall, hasn't played yet. I'm baffled about that. And like you said, fans are saying, well, they gotta evaluate the see who's gonna back up and chop the roster down to 53 and all those things. But understand this, and you talking about, oh, this looks bad. Let's dig deeper into this. This is who this organization has evaluated. These are the players that they thought could play at this level. So did we do a bad job in drafting? Did we do a bad job in undrafted free agents? Did we do a bad job in the free agent market? Because what you're seeing is potential guys who could be starters for you if a starter goes down. And so are we making a push to win this division, which is the NFC South? Are we making a push to go deep into the playoffs and play in the NFC Championship and hopefully eventually to play in the Super Bowl? We don't know. Here's the thing. New system, offensively, defensively, special teams wise. I would think that you would want your veteran guys who you're going to rely on for 17 games to get some reps, to get accustomed to this system, to get accustomed to the play calls, to get accustomed to the flow of a game with your offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Um, we can question it all we want, but we don't know what the outcome is going to be starting in September. But this is something we haven't seen before. I haven't seen in my lifetime as a former player and as a retired player where your starters in a new system haven't played a snap yet, even though it's preseason game. So we can criticize and critique it and not understand it and not like it until week one. If it comes out and we win by 3 or 4 touchdowns and don't give up any points, we're gonna say genius move. So and if it goes the other way, we're gonna say knucklehead move. So right, what I want fans to understand is this. I'm not being critical of the Falcons and not being you said, oh, you a former Falcon, you should be a Falcon fan. I am a Falcon fan. My job is to give you the insight of what I see and what I'm thinking. That don't mean I don't love my Falcons team. What here's the frustration part, William, is this. The division is down. The division is down. You don't have to worry about New Orleans and Carolina right now. We should beat them. That's 4 games we should win. The team you should worry about is Tampa Bay, which I feel uh, an aging quarterback, and you go, it's Tom Brady. But that was an anomaly what they did last year. And I don't see it happening again. So here's a football team that is geared and sitting there to win this division and have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And it's frustrating that we see with this preseason, with the season starting, that we don't even get a glimpse of what this team could be. And we have to wait until Sunday in this third preseason game to even get a glimpse.
Well, first off, you don't really have to explain yourself. You're a professional athlete who played this game at a high level. So that alone is experience enough that fans should respect and
Right.
understand where you're coming from because you yourself played in preseason games.
Yes. And wanted to play in
Yeah.
preseason games. The reason I wanted to play in preseason games because I knew that was the tune-up, the dress rehearsal for week one. And I did for even going into year 13, I felt that I needed preseason games. If you feel you don't,
How do you?
you're, yes, you're a professional, and yes, you're all pro, and yes, you played in the Pro Bowl, but you should not feel that you're that good and that great that you can miss tune-ups and be ready for opening day. I don't care. It doesn't happen that way.
You know,
I'm,
people.
I'm gonna tell you one of the greatest athletes of all time, played in preseason games, and that was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't. If you look at Michael Jordan's stats, he played in preseason games, and he has played in more games for season than anyone in the history of basketball. I think it was only 2 seasons that he didn't play all 84 games.
So what do you say though? The people are like, well, that's basketball. They're not going to take all
Well,
those hits.
no, well, at the end of the day, look, if you want to be great, if you want to be one of the greatest to ever play the game, you have to prove it and you have to be on the field to do it. Point blank.
And also, like with the, the people will say, well, they're trying to preserve the players so they don't get injured. Also, wouldn't you getting acclimated to the contact also maybe prevent injury?
That 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 was one of those things that,
Like, don't you, as part of the preseason as well, is that you want to feel the contact. You want to go ahead and get it ready prior to the regular season.
I want to see some analytical study that says preserving a guy in preseason determines that he won't get hurt during the regular season.
Mhm.
I want to see that. And I want to see, well, if he plays in the preseason, he's going to get hurt and not. I want to see those numbers because I can't believe that not playing in the preseason is preserving you to play a full season of football. I just don't see that. It's just the numbers just don't add up to me. I don't get it. At the end of the day, if you tell me that the 11 starters on offense and 11 starters on defense, they won't get hurt if they don't play in a preseason game. They won't get hurt in a regular season. You can't tell me that. And you can't tell me those 11 starters on offense and 11 starters on defense, if they play in the preseason, they're going to get hurt in the preseason. You can't tell me that. You can't predict that. You can't even try to prevent that because it's just something that happens.
Mhm.
You can't say, well, only thing you can predict is this. If I don't drive my car, I won't run out of gas. That's it. What do you see what I'm saying? That's it. But when it comes to football, when it comes to physical activity, you can't say the more I do things, the more I'm gonna get hurt, or the less I do things, the less I'm gonna get hurt. It just happens. It happens.
And I think one of the big things that you've mentioned as well is especially with a new scheme. That's the big thing. I think that's the big thing that I kind of have a problem with is this is a new offense, and we kind of have seen in the past what the Falcons do under the first year
Yeah.
under a new offense. The
Yeah.
second and third year usually are better than that
Right.
first year.
Right.
I read an article this morning was saying Matt Ryan, he's kind of quizzing his teammates on the playbook. Whereas I guess he's just doing like pop quiz, ask him. He said he's also doing it to keep himself
Right.
up to speed. But it seems like playing in the game would help out with that.
Well,
Is
yeah,
there
that
anything
would.
that you
Here's the
did?
thing.
Go ahead.
Matt Ryan is probably what, under his sixth offensive coordinator in 13 years or something like that. But he's adapted well.
Mhm.
He's still one of the premier quarterbacks in the league. But as you get older, it's harder to change ways. So, I say this. I think in this offense, you're going to see a more productive Matt Ryan because of the fact that he's not going to be asked to do a whole lot like he has in the past. I don't think you're going to see Matt Ryan throw the ball 35, 40, 45 times a game.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. I think you're going to see a balanced attack. You're going to see more play action. You're going to see more um, quality throws instead of quantity throws. And that's going to bode well for this Falcons offense if they're gelling perfectly. That means the run game is going to have to be very, very productive. Now, going into this last preseason game, I looked at the depth chart, William, and you still have your number one draft pick sitting behind Hayden Hurst. So my thing is, why is he not playing in the preseason? And then you have a two tight end set as your depth chart. So why isn't Kyle Pitts the other tight end? Which would make sense. Now you got two dynamic tight ends on the field at one time. So who you going to double team? And that didn't make any sense to me. And then you got your second round draft pick, third on the depth chart at safety. What is that about? And I don't know, man. We can sit here and question everything that the Falcons are doing. We can nitpick whatsoever, but until we see the product in September against the Philadelphia Eagles, we don't know. I mean, even in this preseason game, I don't think it's going to show us enough of who this Falcons football team is going to be starting September.
I agree. I don't think we're going to see that much, especially with the backup. AJ McCarron went down in the last preseason game, lost him for the year. They now replaced him with Josh Rosen, and now apparently Arthur Smith says Josh Rosen is going to play a decent amount in this preseason game. So I'm like, oh, well, here we go again. That sounds like less time for Matt Ryan. Right. I'm just not hoping that because we have an extra game in the regular season that Arthur Smith is treating maybe the first bit of regular season like it would be a normal coach's preseason. I hope that's not his acclimation period.
Well, that's crazy if that's the thought. The key is you want to get off to a fast start in September. You want to be at least 500 going into October. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be 1-3 or 0-4 going into October. That's you can't catch up. You can't catch up. So you got to get off to a fast start. You know what? We'll see the starters in this last preseason game. You might see them for a quarter, and that's it. You might see them for 2 or 3 series, and that's it. But at the end of the day, you're going to get Josh Rosen his reps. But I would play Felipe Franks the entire second, third, and fourth quarter just to get him some reps in. We know what Josh Rosen is. He's been a career backup ever since he lost his starting job when he came in as a first-round pick. And, at the end of the day, there's a reason why he's bounced around whatsoever, and he's just a career backup. If Felipe Franks is part of your future plans, let's get him reps in this last preseason game.
Yeah, back to the AJ McCarron thing, the AJ McCarron injury. People want to point to that as why maybe Matt shouldn't be playing. I saw that put Matt Ryan in bubble wrap because look, AJ McCarron got hurt.
Come on, man. AJ McCarron wasn't playing with the starting offensive line either.
Yeah.
You got to think about it. He wasn't playing with the starting wide receivers or running backs either. So you can't compare the two. You can't compare the two. At the end of the day, injury's going to happen. What we have seen in the first three preseason games is what life would be like without Matt Ryan. You want to talk about, let's get rid of Matt Ryan. Let's, why did we draft a quarterback? He's a bum, this and that. But now, guess what? This is what you're going to see if Matt Ryan is not on the field. So you better appreciate him while you can, and hopefully that he can stay upright and healthy, because if he does, this team has a chance to win the division, because the division is down. No one scares me in the division but Tampa Bay, and you split with Tampa and win the others, guess what? You division champions.
You're right. Without what we look like without Matt Ryan is horrible. We had it's a perfect segue into a fan question we had. Their name is what? Okay. But my question though is, if our next preseason game is similar, and you already touched on this, will fans start questioning Smith and Fontenot's draft and off-season moves and passing on fields may start to look like a huge mistake.
Well, that's what fans do. And they already looking with one eye open, like, what are we doing here?
Mhm.
So you better get that other eye open by coming out fast against this Cleveland Browns defense, who they gonna play their starters. Now you're gonna have to this is a playoff team that we're about to play. And here's a team that think they can win their division and go on deep into the playoffs. They are geared up to go deep into the playoffs. So you can here's the test right here for this Falcons team and this new organization and new scheme offensively and defensively is how you play in this first quarter of this preseason game will determine what we should expect opening day.
Yeah, I think.
So I think that if if it's a bust, if it's not, if alignment, assignment, energy, and execution, I think fans are going to start questioning the hires, and rightfully so. I mean, that's what we do as humans. We question things that we don't understand, and we question why we do things that are not acceptable to us. So you're going to get that. So get ready.
Is there anything you can do as a player to try to get the coach to put you in the game? Like, because you said you like to play in the preseason, so some of these starters, I wonder. I'm sure that some of them have wanted to play. Is there anything they can tell Arthur Smith to convince them to play or play longer, or is that just it is what it is? You're
Well,
not going in.
this we did it all the time. We used to ask the question, Coach, how long we gonna play in this preseason game? And Coach might say, hey, you're only gonna get 2, 3 series, and you probably, we as starters sometimes say that's not enough, Coach. Or he'll say, first preseason game you're gonna get the first 2 series or something like that, and then the first 2 series may be 3 and outs, and we
Mm-hmm.
go to him saying, Coach, that's not enough. We want to play. Give us another series, and he says, okay, get another series, and then the next series we might march down and score field goal or touchdown. Now we're feeling good about ourselves. But I always was like, even going into the last preseason game, you knew you weren't going to get many reps,
Mm-hmm.
but you always ask the question, Coach, how my coach knew, from the receiver coach, offensive coordinator to the head coach, knew when I asked the question, how much time I'm gonna get in the preseason game was, don't limit me in the preseason game. I will let you know how I feel and how much I think I should play in the preseason game. And that's the respect that I had as a veteran. So in the last preseason game, coach might say, hey, you're gonna get the first series. I'm like, Coach, I need more than that. Give us a quarter or something like that. And even you talk to your offensive mates, the offensive starters, they feel the same way. We go to him and says, hey, let's get a whole quarter in and give and call it a night. And usually it works out for us.
What's some advice that, because we're coming into the last game, so we know a lot of cuts are going to happen, transpire after
Mhm.
this game. What's maybe some advice that you can give to a player that maybe feel like they're on the cusp of making the team? What's something they can possibly do?
Hey, you got to go out there and give them a wow play. A wow play is something where they go, wow, that's potential. We got to find a place and a spot for him on this roster. It could be special teams, offensively or defensively. You got to give them a wow play. If you're a defensive guy, front interior, beat a guy, get a sack, strip sacks, scoop and score. Uh, Defensive back, hey, make a good break on the ball, pick it off, take it to the house, whatsoever. If you're a safety, fill it a hole, form tackle, whatever it may be. Offensively, if you're a receiver, you covered, go over top of a guy, catch the ball, put the hand on the ground, keep going and score. Things like that. Running back, make somebody missing a hole, stiff arm the linebacker, get another 15, 20 yards. You got to, if you're a special teams guy, punt returner, kick returner, give them a good 25, 35-yard return. If you covering on special teams, beat your guy, make a form tackle, one-on-one good tackle where people go, oh, wow, that's a great play. That's what you have to do. You got to give the staff a play that says, okay, especially if you're on that line, okay, that's a wild play. That's potential. we got to find a spot on the roster for him.
And what might can get a guy from the special teams unit maybe to on the depth chart as a wide receiver?
Well, he just has to wait his time. He's gonna have to just wait his time. He just got to keep playing special teams, special teams. At some point in the season, someone is gonna get a nick or someone's gonna get tired, and you're gonna have to go in there and play a couple of plays. And when you get in there and you may only get 3 plays, those 3 plays, you have to grade out 100%. You got to do everything right because now you got to gain trust from not only your receiver coach, but the offensive coordinator and the head coach where you can get more reps. So I say you got to go in there and do the things necessary and grade out 100% on the plays that you play to show them that you can trust me. And that's what it's all about. I got to be able to trust you to put you in the game and do what I ask you to do.
All right. Appreciate that advice. I hope they listening. I hope they are listening to your advice. What you got anything else for us today, Terance?
All I have to say is fans, be patient. You know, even though Arthur Smith came in and said we're not rebuilding whatsoever, and if you think we're rebuilding, you hired the wrong 2 guys. At the end of the day, there's going to be some struggles. It's a new system. It's offensively and defensively. You got a first-time head coach, got a first-time GM. You got to give them time. You got to give them time because you got to understand this is a team that they have inherited, and they did some good things in the draft. But you got to understand when they took over this organization, the team was strapped for money.
Mhm.
So this is all they could do. Give them some time when some money frees up in the next couple of years to really build this team to make a push to the playoffs and a division championship year by year. So be patient. I just say be patient.
All right. Everybody, we want to thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check out next week to find out what Terance thought about how the starters performed in this last preseason game.
Yeah. And I'll be at that game, by the way. So I'm going to see it up close. I hope I don't get booed or peppered by fans because of all the things that I've said, but I'm not worried about that. I just tell the truth. I tell the truth.
Thank you, everyone.
Peace.